All right.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. You're live.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Good evening, everyone from Singapore. Today we have today you can see it's not just Shiksha and me as usual. We have a lot of other people on the panel with us. We have Daniel, we have Odette, and we have Nina. All of them are our mentors on the hackathon, and they have kindly agreed to take out some time and talk to us and have a discussion over here. So keep your questions coming for them today. We'll address the standard questions, but whatever you want to ask them, please ask them. And let's get started.
Yes, perfect, Saloni. So would you like to cover some of the basics before we go ahead? Maybe submission requirements?
Do you want to do that? The submission requirements.
Oh, happy to do that. So guys, we're still getting lots of questions. It's the last day. I know you're all panicking, just highlighting the 3 things that we need. So what we need is your technical pitch that explains what's your working solution, what it does. All the details are on that post. Again, we want a video of 2 minutes. And that video should be sharing about what your prototype does, right? So a lot of people are saying 2 minutes are not enough. We don't think we can do that in 2 minutes and whatnot. But we need it to be concise and it has to be standard. The reason we're asking for 2 minutes is, don't forget, we have our judges going through all your projects. So you want it to be like your 2 minutes of fame of what your product does and what your team have developed. And the third thing is, again, lots of questions on that. We need a link to be able to view the prototype. So we want to be able to see it in action. And if you're going to link it to one of your drives where we just see the code, it's not going to be helpful to us. Later, Saloni, maybe I can share my screen and we can show you how people are doing it on DevPost, just to make it clear to you. Yeah. So we have a lot of people joining us. Hello, everyone.
Yes, good morning. Okay, so I'll just introduce our panelists briefly over here. So Daniel has, and all 3 of them have over 20 years of experience, so a very rich experience, and they all represent different industries. So Daniel represents both business and leisure industry, and he's currently the CPO for Evernos. I hope I got the pronunciation correct. And he has worked across different organizations, Amadeus, Criteo. So any questions you have from any industry, I think Daniel is there to answer those to them for you. Nina is from the hospitality industry and her current focus is health and safety. I think it's like the perfect time to talk about health and safety because with COVID, as Nina also mentioned, it's health and safety is not something we look at the last, but something we look at the beginning. So welcome, Nina. And we also have Odette, who represents the business and the corporate travel committee. She's the MD of NITAM since 2014, and as she told me, she breeds business travel. So we already see a lot of people over there. So get in your questions. But maybe we start with the first question. How do you think is the energy of the hackathon right now? And we are very close to the submission timeline. Odette, do you want to go first?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, the energy is up and running, nervous, stressed at the moment because it's the final day. And yeah, the deadline is upcoming. So that's what you see when you talk to the teams. And I love this kind of setting because this is what we need at the moment.
Exactly. Lots of energy, lots of people working on things and everything buzzing. I totally agree with that. I've seen quite some good engagement, especially in our Slack channel. Keep it coming, guys.
Yeah, we have our Slack buzzing since morning and we don't know who to answer first.
I have the same problem. People ask me to review their videos and then I think, okay, I have to have an open mindset because they're also the competition of my team, of course.
Yeah, that's true. Perfect. So Daniel, would you want to go next?
Well, I completely agree with the level of energy and stress that's rising until the last hour. So we'll see what happens in the rest of the day today. I've seen a lot of coffee, which is a good sign as well. So people being, using some help to get to the end line. but definitely huge energy. It's great when you see the projects coming together. It's great when you actually put the final touches, both on the prototypes and on the presentations, and you can see it all coming to life. So very exciting last few hours.
And we
Yes.
can still see some people over there asking for people who can help them on front-end development, on something on the app. It's really exciting to see all of that.
Yeah, totally agree. And we are looking forward to seeing your videos. I wanted to mention one thing as well. We will have public voting open for all the projects starting tonight after the submission. So we want all of you guys to come and vote on their post for your favorite projects. You'll be able to see all the projects live on our gallery after submission closes. So don't forget, we also have that award, the Popular Choice Award.
Okay,
And
Nina, what's your take?
Well, it's my first hackathon, and I was actually a bit nervous myself because I'm not technologically focused at all. So, but I think it's great. I think everybody's really getting into it. One of my teams over in LA, so currently they're asleep, so I'm kind of nervous for them, wondering what they're doing, apart from sleeping. But I think it's great. It's great energy, lots of chat, help readily available. It's a great thing to be participating in.
Perfect. So good to know that.
We are having a lot of people reaching out, actually saying hello. Thank you guys for joining us. It's great to have you with us this afternoon, at least this afternoon in Germany where I am. So if you have any questions, if you have any questions, please do join us and ask us any questions. This is the last live Q&A that we are having before the submissions. So please ask us the questions. Go on, Celine.
Okay, so we had this question with Michael yesterday, and I think I would ask the same question to all of you today. We were discussing that how, because of COVID, a lot of things will go contactless. And Michael made a point that he feels things like check-in don't require people. But what is that one experience, in your opinion, where you would still want a contact, you would still want a human helping you out, like you don't want it to go contactless? So Nina, maybe we can start with this one with you.
Yeah, I mean, to me, hospitality is about being sociable and helpful and welcoming. So it's fine that you can have contactless for check-in and staff entrances and door openings and paying for food and things like that. But you need to have human contact if people just want to have a chat or they want information, and also for security reasons. So there's certain parts of it that you can't go contactless on.
True, what
Yeah,
very rightly said.
yeah, I agree on that. But I think the minute that things go wrong and people are starting to look for where do I go, who can help me out, you always need some assistance. I mean, we are humans and we are there and we need humans to be alive. So yeah, working from home is nice, like we all experience now. You can see a different balance in your work-life balance, but we all long for to see our colleagues, our partners, our friends, our family. So that's what, yeah, that's important.
I completely agree again with Odette. We're human, and travel wouldn't be travel without the human touch and the human connection. So this is a component that cannot be replaced. Definitely, we can replace the tedious paperwork, and I think an area where digital still has a lot to play, and probably this crisis will accelerate a few things. It's about e-vouchers and easy access to facilities, services, attractions, experiences without having to print out your paper voucher. In some countries, I know it's the paper voucher has value because you give a paper voucher to the taxi driver, who will give it to their office, who will give it back to the agency, who will give it back to the central office, and it's actually your money. So you cannot really replace it as is. But in many other cases, the paper voucher is completely useless, and this can be replaced. It's going to be contactless, but there's going to be a human person. You're just not going to use a material to provide digital information.
That's great.
Yeah,
Thanks, Matt.
And on that one, I mean, it's also about record keeping. So, you know, at any kind of organization, you need to be able to keep records to show your due diligence, whether it's temperature monitoring or whatever it might be. This needs to go contactless as well, because people, you know, the pen and the paper is now contaminated. So that all needs to move in a different direction.
Perfect. Aurelie has a question. I'd like to know if projects trends you see apply to leisure, business travel. I have an interesting one to share about this. So I have a good friend. He works in the steel, copper and steel.
Sorry.
No worries. So he works in the copper and steel industry. So I've known him all my life, traveling all over the place to meet customers. So he goes to, I don't know, Australia, Egypt. He can be in Europe. He's all over the place. His life has been traveling nonstop, and he has 2 kids that he hardly sees. So I had a call with him last week and asking, how is it going? You know, how is it working for you? Are you losing business? And he told me, surprisingly, the drop hasn't been as bad because people have just accepted that we can do Zoom calls now. We don't need to meet face to face, and the customer doesn't want to meet you. They are adapting their ways to do business. So the future is looking like, corporate travel might drop. And, corporate travel is a very big segment of travel. So it would be interesting to see how this is tackled. And I don't know if any one of you would like to share your insights.
Yeah. Maybe Odette, because she manages.
Yeah, I think I should be the one to answer. So
yes,
what we see in the corporate world that, we knew that COVID was there way back before it was acknowledged, because travel managers stopped allowing travel because they had travelers in China. So there it all started. So by the minute it came to Europe, all the travel managers were already prepared to adjust their views on their travel policy and how to allow travelers not to travel or where to travel. And what you see now, it's interesting to see that we expect that we won't meet each other again, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm fed up with all the Zoom meetings, and I like to see my members live. So and this is really an industry, particularly this industry. I mean, I've never seen an industry like this, and I used to be in different industries, and I always say, my husband always says, what do they do? You see each other at conferences, you see each other at the airport in meetings, but how do they manage to do their actually job, their work? And I say, yeah, but that is like it is. It's this industry where we see and meet each other. When you look at business travel, I think it will be less, and perhaps for a few years, and then onwards it will grow. But honestly, I don't want it to be crowded as it used to be. I live near the Schiphol airport. I've never seen a blue sky like the sky is now. I'm sorry. It's a really contradictory to the business we're in, but we really have to acknowledge that we have to make, certain choices, and not for us, but for the generations after us. And I know that they are the ones, like Aurelie, she is all about travel. I'm really killing her at the moment. Yeah, but really, you have to be more conscious if you want to do a business trip. I would never go for a 1-day business trip again. Because it's tiring. It's not nice to leave the home early in the morning, arrive back home late in the evening. It must be romantic, but in fact it isn't. The waiting queues, going from airport to
some
plane.
people just have it. It's their life.
So I think we all become more conscientious that we really make different choices. Do I really need to see them live, or can we do it virtual? Or I think that will be a big change in business life, at least.
Yeah, and I think to that point where one thing, because I've been working with corporates as well in the past, there's one thing where they are looking at, which most people might not know about, is cost cutting. So they were already big on.
But I hate that word, cost cutting. I mean,
but they were already to reduce travel. So you can't take a business class ticket unless it's like 6 hours plus. That kind of policies.
I know. I wrote them myself. I was a travel manager. I wrote them myself. But Cost cutting, it shouldn't be about cost cutting. It should be about the traveler experience, about the traveler well-being. Um, the corporates all want that their employees achieve their business goals. That is what you can do by managing a good policy. And if you pay a bit more for a trip, you always have to look at the end what the revenues are, what the goal of the trip was. Did someone achieve the business goals? I mean, if you spend €1,000 on a trip, but that guy in sales get a deal for 600,000 euros, who is counting that €1,000 investment? So there should be a mind shift at C-level management. Any C-level listening?
So
Yeah.
this is the message.
I think maybe we shifted to Daniel and ask him from a product perspective, what kind of products do you think can help address these issues of the business community? How can the confidence come back? How can we still get people to travel? Odette might not be happy if a lot of people are traveling again, but what do you think in terms of product can be developed in this industry?
Well, I completely agree with the fact that business travel will come back very slowly. It's just a fact. Routes are closed, borders are closed. Traveling is a hassle with all the regulations, risk of quarantine, having to do tests left and right. So depending on I guess your friend will have a lot of, the best possible medical checks ever in his life. He's traveling across all airports and borders and getting tested all the time. But the key point is really to bring trust back. There will be business travel, and yes, people meet because they need to build trust between organizations. Because some things are just not possible remote when you need to co-work with a team, become creative, and it's going to remain. It's going to come back at some stage. The key is to bring trust back. And being in trust is about informing people what is possible, what is not possible, so that they can get prepared. So the right level of information, the right level of assistance from a company perspective. So the companies, there are already companies that provide the medical kits before people travel. They provide special insurance, special assistance on location, that have subscriptions for co-working spaces so that your employees can get to a new destination, have meetings in a safe environment. So there is a lot that the companies can do to help their travelers who are still going to travel in the best possible way.
Thank you so much, Daniel. So we have a question. A virtual pitch is different than one in real life. How to get the judges ecstatic over the video? I totally understand that point. That's where that's what the challenge is for you. You guys have to be as creative as possible. You are pitching the idea, and to be honest, when you put a text out there and you put a video, I think people, they can only get the emotion out of the video. So your focus has to be, to bring your idea to life in the video. So when someone sees it, they relate with you. It can be something personal. So when I'm watching it, think of who is watching that video. A traveler. It could be someone from a business itself. Managing corporate, whoever is your target market. How do you want them to feel when they see that video? You're helping solve a solution. So you have to be able to clearly, put it in visuals what you're doing.
And that's why we have like a separate category for presentation skills. That's the challenge of this hackathon. And I'm sure you all will do really well about it. And I think mentors are there to help you and guide you on this. So show it to your mentors.
I don't
yes,
think
go ahead.
No, I don't think that the roadmap guys need any help. I think they can do it themselves. I'm very confident. They are my members, and I know what they can do. So yeah, I know Danielle. So yeah.
Go roadmap.
Yeah, go roadmap.
So maybe Nina, you want to share with us what would you like to see in a video? What would make you, if you saw a video, what would attract you, to that product, especially travel related?
Well, I think part of it's passion, isn't it? You want to see the passion of the presentation coming through. So character. I want to see the actual thing working. I want to see how it was going to benefit me. And it's all about trust and confidence. So how are you going to get that through?
Thank you. All right, guys, do you have any questions? We are reaching towards the last 10 minutes. So
I think in the meantime, I have another question for Nina, and let's talk a little about health and safety in this scenario. So we are talking about the health and safety of our customers, of the business traveler, of the leisure traveler. But I think what's also at stake is the health and safety of the people working at all these places, in the airlines, in the hotel industry. So what do you think can be done to ensure health and safety for those people? Because I think they also need the kind of confidence to get back to work now.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's all about rebuilding confidence and gaining assurance for staff and for guests. People are going to be worried about going back to work, not just about traveling for work or if they're going to travel for vacation. What they want is confidence that the risk of exposure is being properly assessed, that it's not just about social distancing, it's about looking at air quality, staggered shift times, travel to and from work, high risk workers, what extra attention do they need, shared equipment, how is that going to be cleaned? So it's making sure that that's all thought through and that everybody actually understands what the new protocols are going to be. So it's getting buy-in. I think it's also about being visible. So people want to see the hygiene measures actually in place. They don't want you to be hiding behind it. They actually physically want to see the hygiene. Another thing that's crucial is the mental health of workers, and this has been all over the news. But the employer is going to have to think about the well-being of the workers and the mental health side of it, and how that's actually being addressed in terms of just having somebody there to talk to, which in addition is also having a hygiene manager, a COVID-19 kind of person, a go-to person that might be guest relating or staff relating, that people can and go and talk about their concerns and raise ideas. Obviously, correct cleaning and disinfection measures are critical, and having the proper disinfection in terms of contact time. Social distancing, obviously, that is critical. Reminders are required for staff and for guests, clear directional routes about how you're going to cross between the bar and the counter and everything else. And it's also about training, isn't it? Training the staff so they feel comfortable, they understand why these procedures are in place, what infection control is all about. So I think, again, it's about rebuilding confidence and gaining assurance so that people feel secure to come back to work or come to the establishment.
Quite right. Daniel, what's your take on this?
I would add that it's very important to highlight the measures and communicate around them. It's good for the traveler, for the guest, to feel confident and to see what's actually been done. And guests are also understanding that some services cannot be provided in the traditional way. So they are perfectly able to make compromises and accept that they will not get that particular access to the gym or special service, but that's a good thing for them. And it's important that all of our operations are done in a way that what we are doing really helps the guest understand that everything is done in their interest.
Okay, thank you so much. So should we go for one last question maybe? Because I think we will be ready
do that.
So we do have one last question. We have a question from Raman. How do you see governments balancing revenue group, leisure travel, and restricting travel from countries with hotspots? Does the industry need to increase coordination with the governments? That's a tough one. Who would like to take that on?
Well, I can provide a couple of examples. Well, first of all, governments won't take any risk. So we have to understand that the public policy will take precedence. And if a government feels like something is going in the wrong direction, they will just take action. They have to take action. So it's part of us all together as an industry to reassure that we can handle tourists. We can handle volumes in airports, and proving that the situation is under control. The key problem with this crisis is when everything happens at the same time and the hospitals get overloaded. But someone getting sick and getting care and being isolated, that's okay. The governments can manage that situation. So we need to make sure that they can provide that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Daniel. So maybe we could wrap up for the session. So let's go for last closing words. We start with you, Odette. What do you wish our team and anything to share?
Yeah, wish for all the teams.
For the teams or for
Yes,
the
like
industry?
what should they be
For
focused
the
on right
teams,
now?
okay. The teams that I think they should focus on their last things to do and get as much reviews from their mentors as possible, because they need that feedback to stand out in the crowd, as I heard. So, and I wish them all the best and good luck, and never doubt yourself, because they're really very hardworking and intelligent people.
Thank you, Odette.
Thank you.
Nina?
Nina, what's your?
Well, very similar. I mean, concentrate on your final moments and get it all recorded and checked out by your mentors and show passion for what you're doing. Good luck.
Thanks. And we'll go with you, Daniel.
Just to make sure the message is simple and comes across in a clean way. You can say a lot, but if you say too much and your judges don't retain the key things and the key messages, then it's useless. So focus on your really important messages and make sure that those are clear and stand out.
Okay.
I think you have given the key to the 2 minutes. What should be there in the 2 minutes?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Thank you so much, Daniel, Nina, and Odette for joining us. It was great to have you here. The rest of you, please stay. We will just show you a bit about the submissions because we know you have a lot of questions. So thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you. And I think while Shiksha brings up her screen, I have a request from everybody who has joined and from Nina, Daniel, and Odette. Today is the last day, and I know a lot of you will be under stress and working out. Share a picture of how you are doing it. I'm going to share a picture of my home office today. So why don't you all do it? You can use the social media channel and Slack, and then we'll post it into all our groups. You would really want to see what you're doing, and you would like to see how the energy is building, the stress is building. You can share a video, you can share a picture, anything which works for you. And don't forget to use the hashtags TravelScrumHack, TravelScrum, and join the Scrum. And all the very best. Do really well in these last few hours.
All right. Can you see my screen, Saloni?
Yes, I can see it, Shiksha.
All right, guys, you all can access this page. It's already there. You're on DevPost. When you go on DevPost, you just click on submissions and you will see all the projects that are already there. So some of you have done some great work. You have already started loading all the information. Thank you. So this is where everything has to go. So these are some of the projects. We have quite a lot of them right now at the moment. So I just want to, I'll just pick randomly one that I saw earlier that I thought was sort of having everything there so you can see as well. So if you go to D groups, they seem to have done a good job of like portraying everything that needs to be included. So this is a bit of what it looks like. So they have the current model and of course they'll have to have the video up. There's this section where it might not be complete yet, but they have this section here that says try it out. And they've posted a link of where you can try out. So it could be a website, it could be an application, or wherever you've hosted it, GitHub or wherever. But we want to see the prototype in action. So you do need to include that as well. Okay, and let me see if I can show you anything else. Just give me a minute. Okay, so these are some of the projects. And yeah. So like I mentioned, there would be also, after our cutoff time today, there would be live voting open for the public choice project. So you guys will be able to do that through the submission gallery as well. So that's pretty much it for me for this. I guess
I think let's just remind them the deadline. It's 11:45 PM UTC. Don't think it's 11:59. You have 15 minutes less, so please do that. Leo, you can just save the advances. So you can keep editing your project.
Yeah.
So that
You guys,
gets saved.
you guys can edit your project all the way to 11:45 p.m., but after that it's done. So you can't do any changes on your submission on DevPost. So please make sure you meet the deadline. And if you're having any challenges, if anything goes wrong, you're not able to submit all, do highlight to your mentors. But we have a very firm deadline submission. We will
So
not be.
please start submitting by 11:30 and give maybe 11:15. Don't leave it till the last minute because
I'd go
there
as
might be
far
an
as,
issue.
yeah, I'd go as
We
far
are
as saying,
off Slack. We are going to go off Slack at 11:30 p.m.
yeah.
UTC. We
So
won't
I'm
be
saying
replying.
I totally agree with Saloni on this idea. We've been going easy on Slack, answering all your questions. I think all of us need 1 week of sleep, but that's okay. So please, I think by 11 p.m. UTC, you should start already wrapping up and make sure everything is posted. Reason being, you could have last minute technical difficulties. Things could happen. You internet, whatever connection can drop or whatever. We don't want you to all the hard work you've done to go to waste. So please do that, guys, and reach out to us on Slack if you have any questions. We are all there and we're all there to help you.
Okay,
So,
just the last, I think I'll just take 1 minute before we end this broadcast. So today is actually our last Q&A session. Tomorrow is our closing ceremony at the same time. So 12:30 p.m. UTC is our closing ceremony. We'll have our entire team on. So please join us for the closing ceremony. We'll share our experiences. We would love to know your experiences. So we hope to see all of you there, all the mentors, all the participants. Please be there. The other thing I want to say is that over the next 1 week, so 19th June is when we when we release the award. So we'll be having a ceremony that time as well. But over the next week, if you still want to see Shiksha and me go live, please share your ideas, what you want to discuss. We can have a couple of teams on. We can talk about where you want to travel. We can have a quiz. So anything which you want us to discuss next week, or if you would like to have mentors, so we are loving these conversations which we have with mentors coming on and sharing their insights. We would love to do that over the next week. So do share with us what you want to listen next week and we'll work on it.
yes, we are so happy to talk to you every day. So we're happy to come back live.
Yeah, we will miss it. So we need to come live.
All right, guys, all the best to you. And
All the best. Thank you.
bye-bye.